We'll check in with KRQE News 13 anchor Elizabeth Alvarez, who has this morning's headlines. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. And happy Wednesday to you at home. Let's begin talking about the biggest race in the nation. President Barack Obama is waking up knowing he will spend 4 more years in the White House. He rode a wave of broad support from minorities, women, and moderates to win re-election. Vigad Shaban is with the president in Chicago. He has more.
The president's family joined him on stage to celebrate 4 more years in the White House.
You voted for action, not politics as usual. You elected us to focus on your jobs, not ours.
The president won almost all of the battleground states, giving him a decisive electoral college victory.
Whether I earned your vote or not, I have listened to you. I have learned from you, and you've made me a better president.
Governor Romney congratulated the president. The Republican challenger says he gave everything he had to this campaign.
I so wish that I had been able to fulfill your hopes to lead the country in a different direction, but the nation chose another leader, and so Ann and I join with you to earnestly pray for him and for this great nation.
With the votes counted, the 2 candidates who clashed on so many issues found common ground.
At a time like this, we can't risk partisan bickering and political posturing. Our leaders have to reach across the aisle to do the people's work.
I am looking forward to reaching out and working with leaders of both parties to meet the challenges we can only solve together.
And the president said he believes the country can come together.
Despite all the hardship we've been through, despite all the frustrations of Washington, I've never been more hopeful about our future.
President Obama returns to the White House this afternoon. Vigad Shaban, CBS News, Chicago.
President Obama is going to have to work with the same Congress that he clashed with in years past. Democrats are still in control of the Senate, and Republicans also still have a majority in the House. And as expected, Obama took New Mexico. Here are look at the latest numbers right here. As you can see, 53% of New Mexico voters voted for Barack Obama compared to Mitt Romney's 43%. The priciest campaign here in New Mexico was the one for the U.S. Senate. Candidates spent more than $12 million. In the end, Martin Heinrich beat Heather Wilson. Heinrich will have to go back to Washington to finish out his term in the House. Then he'll be sworn in as a senator. He will replace Jeff Bigeman, who has held the U.S. Senate seat for 5 terms. Now, most polls actually show that he would win the race easily, but he came out on top by only 7%. That's a lot closer than predicted.
I'm just really excited and incredibly humbled. I mean, it's a real honor to have the support and the confidence of the people in New Mexico.
Throughout this campaign, Martin Heinrich promised that he would always put New Mexico first. He has earned the opportunity to keep that promise, and we should all wish him well in that effort.
That, of course, is Heather Wilson, who was with her family as she made her concession speech last night. In the race for the U.S. House, Democrat Michelle Lujan Grisham was overwhelmingly elected. She beat Republican opponent Janice Arnold Jones 59% over 41% in the race. The former Bernalillo County Commissioner and State Health Secretary spent much of the night celebrating with her supporters. During her acceptance speech, she reflected on her late father.
Would have made sure that I remembered that this was a job, that he expected me to do it well, and he would make sure that I absolutely never forgot the value of New Mexico families.
Lujan Grisham says she plans on first pushing a bill that would help protect families facing foreclosure. Now, her Republican opponent, Janice Arnold Jones, did get emotional in front of our cameras as she talked about her supporters.
You know, I ran a campaign that never had enough money. What I made up for money were people who talked to other people. It takes my breath away.
And moving on to District 2 for the U.S. House, as expected, Republican Steve Pierce is headed to another term. He easily beat Democrat Evelyn Madrid-Earnhardt, a professor at New Mexico State University, 59% to 41%. And no surprise in northern New Mexico either. Democrat Ben Ray Lujan was reelected to the U.S. House in District 3. He beat Jefferson Byrd, a rancher from Tucumcari, with 63% of the vote. In New Mexico, all 112 state House and Senate seats were up for election, I should say. Usually those races are pretty inexpensive and tame, but not this year. Governor Susana Martinez targeted 24 Democrats that she saw as obstacles in moving her agenda forward. Though through her various political organizations, the governor specifically targeted Senate President Tim Jennings of Roswell and Senate Majority Leader Michael Sanchez of Belen, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in particularly harsh ads against them. Now, the ads forced the two Democrats to raise unprecedented amounts of money for local races to combat the negative ad onslaught. But the governor's attempt to reshape the state Senate appears to only have partly been successful. Republican Cliff Pirtle defeated Senate President Tim Jennings, a Roswell Democrat, with over 52% over Jennings' 48%. Now, serving since 1979, Jennings was New Mexico's second longest serving senator. The 62-year-old is a rancho that has served as Senate President since 2008. The governor's PACs were also not successful with Michael Sanchez. He returns as New Mexico's Senate Majority Leader once again. He beat State Representative David Chavez by 10 percentage points. Okay, in Rio Rancho, did you hear about this? Major problems and huge delays at the polls there. There were extremely long lines. In fact, the last person didn't get to vote until midnight. Governor Susana Martinez herself went out to the polls yesterday. She stopped by to talk to people.
You know, it's frustrating, I'm sure, for these folks, but they really are good-spirited about it. I mean, they prefer, I'm sure, to be home and not wait for 2 or 3 hours, but they're hanging out, they're toughing it out, and they're going to make their vote count in this county.
Well, as for Bernalillo County, things ran pretty smoothly, although it was a late night at some polling places. Albuquerque voters voted for 2 important questions that were on the election, ballot, I should say. They actually approved. The first one was $50 million to start the Paseo I-25 interchange project. This means that work may start as early as the end of next summer on the intersection many call a traffic nightmare. Mayor R.J. Berry told News 13 he will be on the phone first thing this morning with the Department of Transportation. The City Council voters also approved a $1 increase to the city's minimum wage. That was the other issue on the ballot. In 2003, basically, it will now go from $7.50 to $8.50 an hour, and opponents have already threatened to sue. The City Council can actually get in on the action there and possibly overrule that vote at a later date. Well, that wraps it up for this busy Wednesday morning. Be sure to catch Matt, Kristen, and myself every weekday morning on KRQE News 13 beginning at 4:30 a.m. All right, ladies, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Certainly a busy morning for the news media today.